really need to have more videos that have me in it. The other stuff is fine, but I want something more to do, dang it.
Finally, home and Wait a minute. Is this Africa? Was I sent to Africa? Ugh, 32, you and your stupid spell book. Oh, hi there. You're not gonna scream or try to swat me or anything, are ya?
What? Where did you come from?
Don't worry, I can explain. But first, you wouldn't happen to be a reviewer, would ya?
Yeah?
Thought so. I mean, you're a talking cheetah wearing a tooth necklace and is drawn in a Disney-esque style. What else would you be? Don't answer that, Internet.
And you're a glowy orb thingy? What are you?
I am, or was, Hewy Toonmore, host of Hewy's Anime Movie Reviews, the show where I review anime films from old to recent, whether they be hand-drawn, stop-motion, or computer-generated. I love saying that.
That's some impressive credentials. I'm Kamaria, Mala 15's cheetah persona. I mostly serve as her stand-in on reviews, little series, stuff like that. So you're a reviewer too, huh? And you just hurtle in here out of nowhere?
More like a certain changeling reviewer messed up on the incantation from that spell book of his in trying to send me home. Knew it was too good to be true.
Excuse me, what?
Long story. You see, it all started 4 years ago.
Many minutes later.
And that's how I ended up here. Think you got all that?
It's, a lot to process, but I think so. Basically, your soul jumped out of your body and now you're doing collabs with different reviewers in order to get back to normal?
If this were a game show, this would be the part where you'd win a brand new car.
Maybe I can help. And since you're here anyways and I'm not doing anything else, want to review something now?
Yeah, the sooner the better. Mind if I pick the subject?
Not at all. What have you got?
First, what kind of stuff do you review on this channel anyway?
Well, mostly, animal animation shorts, small stuff.
Huh, kinda sounds like my friend the Media Hunter. Mind if I look around?
Sure.
A few minutes later.
Okay, one review so far, not bad. And I like the character analysis video on Scar. You certainly got a lot of potential, Kamaria.
Hey, thanks. I want to do more for sure.
Well then, let me help you out with that. Okay, let's see. Small stuff. I think I might know just the thing we could look at.
What you got in mind?
Are you familiar with this?
Ooh, as a matter of fact, yes! Reversal of the Heart is a 2D animated short uploaded to YouTube on May 9th, 2011. It was done as an animation senior thesis project and completed in 2 years by mostly one person, Carolyn Chrisman.
Otherwise known as Fiddlegriff Animation. Of course, this wouldn't be the first piece of animation she's worked on, but it is by far her most popular and well-known with over 30 million views.
And this short deserves every view in my opinion.
It's certainly gained quite the fan base as well, ranging from fan fictions and fan art. Yes, even that kind. But hey, I'm not complaining.
Rule 34 and all. Hey, if it floats your boat. But we're not here to talk about that.
So, what's the story for this animation? Well, it all starts in a medieval fantasy world with a mother dragon and her baby, who both possess colored gems on their chests. It's all so wholesome and cute, which obviously means something bad is about to happen.
Sadly, true. As a shadowed figure with a sword comes in while Mama Dragon is gone, he kills the baby and takes its gem. And Mama Dragon is not at all pleased.
Well, can you blame her? I mean, oh god, that's so sad! I can't stand it. I just can't. The poor little thing. It was just a baby, you monster!
Jeez, and here I thought Bambi's mom dying was traumatic. This is dark. Hey, you gonna be okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'll be okay.
I bet he's gonna go off and brag he killed the big dragon too.
You're not too far off, as he rides off to a faraway castle and presents the baby's gem to a princess who wears it around her neck. If only she knew the truth. Which might be sooner than you think, as later that night, the princess is transformed by the gem into a dragon herself, accidentally setting her room on fire.
The knight, assuming his princess bride has been killed by a large dragon now standing in her bedroom, draws his sword and attempts to kill the dragon in revenge. Fortunately, the princess is just barely able to escape. And can I interrupt for a second to say that we're just barely 3.5 minutes into this short and already so much has happened and we've been able to understand everything and no one has actually said a word of dialogue or narration? This is already miles ahead of the last thing I reviewed.
That's the power of visual storytelling for you. No need for dialogue when facial expressions and body language do all the work instead.
Amen to that. I love it when animators understand how to best use this medium. It's a beautiful thing.
Anyway, the next morning, after falling asleep in a barn to escape the rain, the Dragon Princess wakes up to encounter a small wizard in training. While afraid at first, she shows that she means him no harm and attempts to explain her plight to the boy. And fortunately, he's able to understand her. And after looking at a picture in his magic book, the two set forth toward the Dragon's Mountain in hopes of reversing the transformation. They even encounter a small fire frog the wizard accidentally creates along the way and take it as a pet.
Unbeknownst to them, the knight has been tracking the princess, still thinking that she's a bloodthirsty dragon that killed his love. He eventually catches up to the trio as they come to the Dragon's Mountain, where he attempts to shoot the princess. He knocks her out of the air, forcing her to face him. The fight takes them further and further up the mountain until the knight's sword slashes through the princess's necklace and deep into her neck. She's able to knock him off the ledge before she struggles to take herself and her friends to the magic crystal in the dragon's lair.
The necklace falls off, and as the gem breaks, so too does the magic spell over the princess, and she is returned to her human form. Don't worry though, the fire frog is able to heal her wound with his
Feeling spit!
The knight, now knowing that the dragon he had sought to slay was his princess bride all along, falls to his knees in utter shame, with the princess rejecting him, only adding to it. And it is here that Mama Dragon arrives to finally take her vengeance out on the one who had taken the life of her precious baby. But rather than killing him, she has a different fate in mind.
It certainly does seem like he's on his way to being barbecued, though, as Mama Dragon breathes fire all over him. But as the dragon's fire seems to consume him, something very different is in the knight's place. It seems like he's been transformed into a new baby dragon. How can we guess this? Because the baby dragon's eyes are the same as the knight's.
Hey, an eye for an eye, as they say, He killed her baby, now he can take its place with all memories of his previous life wiped from his mind forever. Fitting, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I'm just not 100% sure on whether he is still the knight with all his memories after transforming into the baby, or if he's literally had a full reset. His curious expressions as the baby could be read to be like he's experiencing the world for the first time. A sort of reincarnation without the memories. But that's obviously just one way to see it. It's one of the rare instances in this short where things are left up to interpretation story-wise.
And what of the princess and the wizard in training? Well, they become a couple. Yay!
And in one of the end cards, it looks like Mama Dragon and her new baby are enjoying their time together on their mountain home.
So that does it for the basic plot summary of the short. Now, what say we discuss the animation and character design?
I thought you'd never ask. On the whole, it's amazing and so well done. Nothing is wasted. The expressions of all the characters and how they act off of each other in each scene and even in each shot give us all the information we need to know what's happening in the story or what the characters are saying and thinking. Even the characters' designs themselves are all excellent, right down to using eye shape and color to code characters. Helpful indeed when someone transforms into another body.
And to think that all of this was done by just one person alone. Well, except for the background paintings, those are done by Gillian Grossman. As for the character designs, none of them are overly complicated. They are all very simple, which allows for smoother, more fluid movements. While it can look sketchy at times, it is understandable, as it is a mostly solo project. But I feel that only adds to the charm and it shows all the hard work and effort the animator put in.
Absolutely, and the character designs are just fantastic. One of the hallmarks of good character design is being able to tell what a character is about and getting a hint of their traits just by looking at them. Each character from Reversal of the Heart shows who they are just by a glance.
Let's start with the dragons. To me, their designs are very reminiscent of Maleficent's dragon form from Disney's Sleeping Beauty, but look softer with more expressive eyes, mouths, mammalian ears, and of course, the gems on their chests.
I like that they're unique as a dragon design goes, but not complicated. They're mostly one color with a few details here and there.
As for the princess's dragon form, oh my god, she's so adorable with the eyes and the purple skin and those cute little expressions. Oh, I just want to hug her so much.
Calm down there. But I agree. She definitely has the cuteness factor going for her. She and the baby dragons do. I love that you can tell the princess dragon and mama dragon apart so easily as well. It goes back to those simple yet unique designs doing their job.
Yeah, you can especially see it in the horns. Oh my god, the horns! She's so cute!
Hewy!
Sorry. I couldn't help myself. Anyway, as for the human designs, they're pretty good too. The knight's design kind of reminds me of Phoenix Wright for some reason, giving the princess a reason to fall in love with him while also showing his antagonistic tendencies. However, I think his helmet looks really weird, as it kind of makes it look like it's stretching his head upward. Reminds me of the helmet K wore when training in Disney's The Sword in the Stone. Looked weird there, looks weird here too.
I'm going to bring out my history nerd side for a minute in regards to the helmet. It looks like it's modeled on a 15th century helmet called a barbute, usually characterized by a T or Y-shaped visor or slit in the front. I can understand why one would choose to use this in an animation because, as far as knight's helmets go, it's very simple to draw.
I'm not saying the helmet in real life looks bad, just that in both this and Sword in the Stone, it looks weird, especially in close-ups.
I can see what you mean, but at least to me, it isn't ever so weird that it's distracting. What I love most about the knight character, though, is his eyes. They're so intense and expressive. You can virtually read his thoughts. For example, in the climax, you can see the look of absolute remorse and horror in the knight's eyes when he realizes what he's done, and when he decides to sacrifice himself. And this same sort of mind reading can be done by us as the audience when it comes to the young wizard and the princess. They have a whole conversation when they first meet, but not one actual word was spoken. And yes, I'm still excited that this short is silent.
Speaking of the wizard, I like his design too. Looks like a mix of Schmender from the last Unicorn movie by Rankin Bass and my own character, Mesmo, from my My Little Pony fanfic series, Adventures in Equestria. He looks young and lanky, showing off that he's still wet around the ears when it comes to his magic training, but also that he's friendly, kind, and has a good heart when it comes to helping the Dragon Princess.
Coming back to Sword in the Stone for a second, I can see some echoes of Wart Arthur in the young wizard's design too, which is a good thing. Ties in with what you said earlier about him looking new and inexperienced, and that he has a kind heart too. The one design I'm personally a little iffy on, and I'll admit this is a nitpick, is the fire frog toad thing.
Yeah, kinda just looks like one of Belladonna's fire imps from an All Dogs Christmas Carol to me.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that. Never thought of that till now. I don't think it's a bad design per se, it's just kinda meh. The fire frog serves his purpose as a way to show us that the princess as a dragon can help the young wizard with magic, and gives a clever way for the injured princess to be healed in the end.
The one design I'm iffy on is the princess in her human form. I mean, it's not bad, but compared to her dragon form, it's just meh, nothing special. To me, it's kind of like comparing the unicorn from the last Unicorn to her human form, Lady Amalthea, or Odette from the Swan Princess to her swan form. Some characters just look better as animals, I guess.
It's me.
I have questions.
I actually can agree with you on that too. I feel like her dragon form was designed first. I mean, if I saw the princess, I'd know what she was from, but she doesn't exactly come across as well thought out like the other characters. In my opinion though, it's not a bad thing due to the fact her dragon form is the one that's important to the story. If one of her forms was to get the short end of the stick, I'd rather it be her human form.
Okay, I think we've got an animation character design out of the way.
Then the last thing I'd really want to touch on is how cool I think it is that this short chose to not use any dialogue or narration, and it lets visuals and sound design do all the work.
I've talked about this before in my review of The Rescuers Down Under with the character of Marahute, the Great Golden Eagle. All the other major characters in that movie, including the animals, can talk, except for her. While it does feel weird at first, she does make up for it with how she interacts with the characters. The way she moves her head, ruffles her feathers, even just opening and closing her eyes, all show off the kind of character she is without uttering a single word of dialogue. But I feel like I'm going off topic here. Sorry.
Actually, what you're saying ties right in. One of my pet peeves with any film is when it relies on talking to get the story elements or characterization across. Yes, there's situations where dialogue is helpful or even necessary, but I feel like if your medium is at least half visual, use that as much as you can, as best you can. You should be able to watch scenes with the sound off and still have a good idea of what the story is, or at least what the characters are thinking or feeling in the moment.
Speaking of sound, the music for the short is mainly composed of Piano Concerto No. 2 Moderato by Russian composer Sergei Rachmaninoff, along with some original compositions by Dave Volpe. I love it when people set animation to classical pieces of music. It gives me feelings of Walt Disney's Fantasia, the original and 2000.
The music complements Reversal really well in my opinion. Both the classical music and the original scores. It feels like it has a strong connection with what we're seeing and doesn't come across as some random music to fill the silence for the sake of it.
And now for our final thoughts. Kamaria, you first, since it is your show.
Hey, thanks, Hewy. I feel like Reversal of the Heart belongs in the same league with some of the iconic and classic big studio short films, even if just for its storytelling alone. It's so well polished and executed, and when you realize it was done by mostly one person, it's mind-blowing. My favorite element to the short is still how expressive all the characters are. At one point between viewings, I forgot that it had no dialogue at all until I rewatched it. You can tell that the wizard wants to use magic, but is a beginner and not all that great at it. You can tell when the princess is absolutely terrified and then devastated when she transforms into a dragon. I could talk about this all day. Character design and visual storytelling are a couple of my biggest passions, and Reversal of the Heart embodies both of those things just done right.
As for me, I absolutely love this short. It's like a combination of Brother Bear and Brave, only they use dragons instead of bears, and maybe some elements of Last Unicorn Swan Princess thrown in there too. It really shows that with enough effort and creativity, even a short piece of animation can gain a strong following. And while it goes against all we discussed throughout the review, I would very much like to see this adapted into a big budget feature-length film, including dialogue. I know, storytelling without dialogue can be just as impactful as ones with dialogue. But hey, it's just a thought and it doesn't take away from my overall feeling of the show as a whole. Go watch on YouTube whenever you have the chance. And hey, maybe one day, it could inspire another future animator.
I'd rather see that kind of adaptation or inspiration happening than half the newer stuff that's coming out right now.
Preaching to the choir there. So, now that the review is over, do you think you might be able to send me home, or at least to the next reviewer?
Well, I can sure try. I just don't know where to start. What should I do? I suddenly feel like the wizard from this short, and I don't have any magic.
How about technology? That helps too.
I'm a cheetah. Not exactly IT material.
So, what can you do?
What if I ran really fast next to you and started a vortex to sling you off through space and time?
Have you tried doing that before?
No, but I've always wanted to.
Well, okay. Guess we could give it a shot. Just hope it's able to send me to another user's channel and not into the outer stratosphere or something.
Only one way to find out.
Hey, listen, Kamaria, before I go, I just want to say that it was nice working with you, and that if I ever do get my body back, I wish we could do it again someday.
I wish that too. Anything else you want to say before you go?
Yeah. See you in the movies. Anime movies, that is. I hope.
And launch!
Upward!